This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Jackthreads. Coming up, there's still more news from GDC as Jeff tells us more about the awesome games he got his hands on.
Hopefully you saw our episode on Monday where I talked a little bit about the Game Developers Conference. There has been a bunch of stuff that was on embargo all week and now I can talk about. So I was up at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, and it is a kind of a bifurcated conference at this point. Two things going on. You've got the sort of meat of the conference, which is all these great talks, of which I got to see zero, sadly. But there's all these talks for developers, by developers, to developers about the process, the real nitty-gritty of creating games. Yeah. And also, there's a large amount of independent games stuff happening at the conference. And then there's this whole other conference that happens in the periphery, in all the hotel rooms around the St. Regis, the West, and there are all these companies, the big companies, in these hotel rooms showing the sort of AAA games.
Got it. The behind closed doors press stuff.
So it's really strange because the show itself isn't really about that, but it's because everybody's in one place at the same time. All the PR companies are like, let me show you stuff. So I want to tell you guys, firstly, about some of the cool AAA games that I saw that are the big, and then some indie stuff. Hit some indie stuff. So I'll try to ping pong about back and forth between games that you are excited about and games that you're excited. But I have to be honest, there's a lot more games that, for some reason, this conference, I kept thinking, this is a Dan game, this is a Dan game. Yeah. But I'll start with...
That's because Star Wars Old Republic is already out.
That's true. But I start with Secret World, which I got to play, and...
How does it play? Because
it plays pretty well. I mean, it's very traditional MMO in a lot of ways, but they do some really interesting new things. Secret World, of course, is this new Funcom MMO, the guys who did Conan, and it's like
post-apocalyptic zombie thing?
No, it's actually modern day. And which I know you were excited about. We played. Remember, it's all about the conspiracy theories. So there's an Asian sort of dragon conspiracy. There's the Illuminati, and then there's the what's it begins with a T, like the medieval Templars. Yeah. Assassin's Creed type deal. Yeah. And so you have, London as a starting area, Seoul, Korea as a starting area, and New York City as a starting area. And the game looks really, really nice. And the really interesting thing is that you can get every single skill in the game. You can acquire every skill, and every third of your experience bar that you earn, you get a skill point. And then when you get your whole experience bar, you get an ability.
Yeah, that's smart.
And you can have all of them. So you never ever need to respec, because you can have 7 active skills and 7 passive skills on your character equipped at a time. And you can swap between those presets.
It's almost feels a little bit like what I really liked about Kingdom of Amalur. Reckoning. Because of the fact that you can sort of swap on the fly.
Yeah. So if you need a tank, you can just throw on your tank spec. And I think a lot of the fun of the game for the people that play it will be figuring out which skill combinations, because there's fucking 500 of them. And it looked really good. I was impressed. I think the lore is pretty interesting. They showed Transylvania for the first time.
That's cool.
Which is cool. But
is it voice acted or still like sheets of?
What about gameplay? Is it button pressing or combo based or?
No. It's a traditional MMO kind of dealio.
Button mashy.
Yeah, but you have all these cool skills, and they had a very big emphasis on story and lore, and so everything kind of feeds into that. Even you find that the lore is narrative based instead of just sort of what they were explaining as an encyclopedia entry. In most games you find a bit of lore, it's like, oh, it's just an encyclopedia entry of telling you about stuff. This is an actual story that you're finding pieces of that is sort of piecing together this big puzzle of what's going on.
Interesting.
It looked really good. So what's the next one I wanted to tell you about?
Free to play or pay subscription, did they say?
Subscription, but they didn't say how much. The next game is...
Dan's favorite game, too.
So I can tell you about, really, what is, of the AAAs, my game of the show. Blew me away.
Assassin's Creed 3?
No, didn't see that. Amazing Spiderman.
Whoa.
Amazing
Flying
Spiderman.
through the city!
Yes. And flying through the city in a way I've never seen in a game. So
interesting. Dan just got really excited.
Blown away by this.
Oh, I remember the original
Spider-Man 2.
2.
Yeah.
Man, that was fun.
So this is based on obviously the new movie, but it begins after the movie's over, so it's not retelling what happens in the movie.
So
that's nice.
Spoiler
free.
Well, I mean, I think it
spoiler
just.
free.
I mean, obviously Spider-Man's not dead at the end of the movie.
Right.
But that's about it. That's about all we know is that he's still in Manhattan.
Right.
And they have a full free roaming Manhattan. They have basically Arkham City'd Spider-Man, which is really cool. And it's a lot of stuff that's very similar. But the camera, you know how in Batman the camera's really close to Batman, he's sort of off to the side? They went even closer. So Spider-Man is huge in your view. Yeah, well, but it's almost from his waist up is what you see.
Right.
And it has this awesome thing they call a web rush, which is a view where you go first person and you're kind of looking through his whatever those things are, those goggle type deals, and you can see like the reflection, like almost Metroid Prime was. And time slows down, and you see, you know how in the comics, like in the old Steve Ditko drawings of the comics of Spider-Man, in an action sequence, it would be like ghost version of Spider-Man and three different. So they use that. I think they're inspired by that idea, and you can look around the city and see Spider-Man in different poses, like a ghost of Spider-Man in different poses, in all these different positions around the city. And you push one button, and he'll get to that spot in some awesome parkour way.
That's so cool.
But you can control him if you so choose. It does not you just push a button and watch it. You can, or you can control little bits of it, and then you can start stringing those together and go boom to boom to boom to boom.
I have to see
and
it
does amazing like flippity do. Maybe by the time this is airing, there might be.
Flippity doos.
It looks incredible, and you have full free roaming web swinging through the environment, so you can mix that back and forth.
I feel like I'd want to be pulled back to do that.
Well, it does pull back when you start swinging.
Okay.
So the camera's dynamic that way, and it'll it's awesome.
And you're saying it's like Arkham City, so it's like a brawling mechanic?
Yes, there's a very similar brawling mechanic, and it actually makes more sense with Spider-Man because he has a spider senses tingling when a guy's coming at him, and he does a really cool thing. And the cool thing about that web rush thing is it never shuts off. It's never like, oh, just this section of the game. You can always do it indoor environments, outdoor environments.
That's cool.
It looks stunning.
Graphic style is like Arkham City, like a realistic, or is it self?
It looks better than Arkham City. I'm saying that right now. I know that's a big thing to claim, but it looks, you know how Arkham City is sort of almost cartoony?
Yeah.
This looks almost photorealistic Manhattan if the photos were at the best time of day and the most amazing.
Wow.
It
I'm
looks
in.
incredible.
And are you webbing objects, people, throwing with your web?
All of that, and you have the same kind of thing where you earn skill points, you're upgrading, and because he's got mechanical web shooters, you can upgrade your web shooters.
Who's developing this?
It's Activision, but it's the guys who did the last Spider-Man game, but they really went from the ground up.
Was that the Spider-Man Venom one?
Yeah, I think it's Web of Shadows or something, like that.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that.
I'm excited.
That. I was absolutely blown away by that. Trying to come up with a good Alex game.
That one was.
You can give me another one.
Quantum Conundrum. Played Quantum Conundrum, which we were talking about.
Yeah.
Which is coming out very soon. And the really cool thing about that is that on all platforms, it's going to start with a free level that kind of introduces you to the concept, and then you can either buy it in game or not. Even on Xbox and Steam and PSN.
That's cool.
It's very Portal. It's very, very Portal, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
I know you like the Portals.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. Another game, do you remember walking out of, I know you were like, why isn't that true crime China game coming out?
I saw
Sleeping Dogs, it's now called.
Yeah, I saw the video.
And that game has basically stolen the Batman combat. So it's the thing you've been asking for a long time. Why aren't games all stealing Batman's combat?
Steal it!
They're stealing it.
It's a great combat system.
I'm a little shaky on the story and how it's presented, but it's got a full driving engine.
Oh, is that True Crime? That was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that
It looks just like that. The guy's running around.
Right, it got picked up by Square Enix, and they rebranding it, so it's not True Crime anymore. It's now called Sleeping Dogs.
Got it.
But yeah, it's open world, gritty, Yakuza style.
Were you playing it or just watch it?
I played it. I played a level of running around fighting dudes, and it's very Batman, which is, as we said, another good thing. Steal that fighting engine; it's awesome. And a driving level, which is feels very Need for Speed or whatever. I don't think.
What about running around in the city? Is that?
Yeah, I had a chase sequence that I played, and
That's such a great question, Dan. What about running around in the city? Was that exhilarating?
Yeah, none of it felt like it hit the quality level, but has a ways to go before it's released.
Okay. Sleeping Dogs, good.
Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of indie things. Really cool game that I got to play called Home. This is
the PlayStation sort of alternate reality thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's a PC game. It's a throwback to the old Sierra sort of adventure game type things.
Yeah.
It's as if like King's Quest and Heavy Rain had a baby.
Ooh, King's Rain?
And it was mixed with a little bit of Resident Evil.
Ooh, zombie King's
So
Rain.
it's I didn't see any zombies, let me be clear about that, but it's a horror game.
Ooh, I like that.
And looks like that old, almost 8-bit, kind of blocky looking King's Quest thing.
Yeah.
So it's a very retro look.
Oh, okay.
It's a very close camera. You're walking, you have a flashlight, so you have a very small illuminated area that you're walking through, and you're trying to figure out what has happened.
Reminds me that we almost played in our marathon, Deadly Ascent or Dark.
Yeah, except it's not first person like that.
Yeah.
You're literally seeing your dude like a King's Quest guy walking through. Yeah. The thing that's so brilliant about it is that it's literally 4 buttons. The arrow keys to move, and
that's already 4 buttons.
Or 5 buttons, excuse me. Yeah, arrow keys to move and 1 interaction button. And the amount that he's able to get out of so little, because you're not typing in like, oh, pick up that, use this with that. And the cool thing is that why I say it's like Heavy Rain is that the story is constantly branching. So if you pick this up, then he starts referencing that into the narrative. If you didn't, he references something else. And there's all these permutations that happen of I did that, but I didn't do that, but I did that, but I didn't do that. And the goal is that you never get to a point where you can't progress. And you never get to a point where it says you have to go back and do something. You always can keep going forward. You just did something or didn't do something, and that's your story.
Interesting.
I like Heavy Rain. Yeah.
Hence my reference.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's got like
sounds a lot like Heavy Rain.
Yeah, you know how in the old Resident Evils when you would go to a new area, it would like do a first-person view of the door opening.
Yeah.
It does that, but just sort of for stylistic.
Nice.
That used to be covering over loading screens.
Right.
Yeah.
But my very much game of show is something that blew my freaking mind.
Okay.
And I don't know if
the frustrating thing about this stuff is like. 2 years ago when you talked about these things, they still haven't like Unfinished Swan never came out.
It's called Unfinished.
Yeah.
So
what was this
there's a
game of the
lot
show?
of the IGF stuff that I could talk about. Like Fez won the game of the year again after 4 years or whatever it is, and it still looks great. A lot of great games, but the game that blew my skirt up in a way, I don't even know if the English language is going to be sufficient. Hopefully we have some video.
Is it a Japanese game?
This game called Dyad.
Ah, okay.
Made by one guy and a composer. It's a Sony is putting it out. It's going to be on PSN in June, I think. How can I explain this? You know Tempest? You remember the old Tempest game? You're kind of like, you can rotate around a circle and there's stuff coming towards you.
Yes.
Yeah. That. And those old Jeff Minter games. I think, isn't his name Jeff Minter? The guy who did Space Giraffe. Kind of like that, where it's like trippy visuals. So you got that, and you're shooting down this track, and you have this hook, it's called, and you have these colored orbs coming down you on the track, and you can hook into them. And instead of just like selecting them or interacting with them, when you hook them, it actually propels you forward, like that. Right? So you start with that, and you can hook into things, and you want to hook them, but then you don't want to hit them, right? If you hit them, it causes damage on you, or you lose points. And then it starts building in ideas, right? So then then there's other things that you can't hook that will get in your way. Or you start hooking them, and then you want to hook pairs of colors, so there'll be an orange one, then a blue one, so you want to do orange, then orange, and avoid the blue, or blue, then blue, and then you start making all these decisions about making pairs of stuff. Then it starts adding like little rings around the orbs when you hook them, so that you can, if you slide through where their orb is, don't hit the center of them because that hurts you, but if you slide through their orb, you start getting bonuses. So you want to like hook them in pairs and then slide through their orb, and then you get this thing called the lance, which lets you, when you activate it, shoot through them for extra bonus points. So sometimes, kind of like Pac-Man, where you get a power pellet and then now you can eat the ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of them hurting you, now you want to slide through them as many as you can. And it continues stacking and stacking and stacking. And then when you slide through the orb, the little sort of aura of them, of pair, it creates like a linked track. So you can like hook onto that track and slide through. All the while, crazy visuals happening, amazing audio, and it just keeps amping up and amping up and amping up. I can't tell you, the experience of playing this game blew my mind. We were playing it for about an hour, just me alone in the hotel room, just playing it. He comes back in, he's like, okay. I was like, I gotta go, unfortunately, I wanna keep playing this. He goes, I want you to see the last level. I can't talk about the last level, but he goes, in all seriousness, do you have any possibility of epilepsy? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. He's like, no, honestly. I had a guy have a panic attack in here.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Amazing.
The last level is...
Mind melting, literally.
It is. I have never experienced anything like this. It was, I was giggling. I was like, it's like, it is unbelievable. It ramps up to such an insane degree.
Wow.
I have to tell you guys, put Dyad on your radar. It is an experience unlike anything else, and it was my game of GDC.
Well, as always, Dan and I are both jealous that we didn't get to go and play with these fun toys.
Yeah, lots of really cool stuff coming up, but
I can't wait to see things.
I want to eat everything.
Yeah, GDC.
All right, everybody, stick around for all the great outtakes from this lovely week of shooting. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, Jeff Cannata.
Week after week, episode after episode, I stand here and I shout and I yell and I gesticulate in an effort to prevent our viewers from becoming what, Alex?
Suckers?
Suckers! And I'm trying really hard, people.
I wish you would say it more often, because I couldn't barely remember it.
Well, you know that I'm in an effort to prevent the suckerification of our viewers, because I care! I care about our viewers. And a sucker, what is a sucker, Alex?
A sucker is
a delicious treat, really.
A
if you
delicious
really want to
treat
count the rendition of a sucker based on the Willy Wonka edition, or the
wrapper was bought at full price. So somebody who clothes themselves in full price
clothes, and if you get licked, you're getting licked by bad purchase decisions. Let me help you out with that.
I want to see that animated.
Stop paying full price. Stop becoming a sucker. Don't get licked, unless it's fun. You can get cool brands. You can dress really nice. You can look slick by dressing in stuff like Kid Robot, Hurley, Stussy, really hot, awesome brands that'll make you look attractive to the lady folk. And you can get that stuff up to 80% off, and thus preventing the suckerification of your down self. I don't know what that word was that I stuck in the middle there.
I thought it was you're down south. So I was like, I don't know if they want to stop the suckerification of their down south.
You increase the suckerification of your down south.
Horrible. Horrible. That's what I thought you said, and I was like, why would they not want to do that? Because you were like, you're gonna wear these brands, it's gonna be great for the ladies, it's gonna increase the suckerification of your down south. I was like, really? Really? We're going with that?
Guaranteed!
Guaranteed.
Get in Jack Threads. They'll get you 80% off. You'll get some sweet brands.
Jack Threads?
Guaranteed. No, guaranteed. JackThreads.com/TRS. You will get the instant hookup. Go there, get in on this cool stuff, and you're
cover your down south.
You're down south looking fly.
If you want to hook up, get the hookup.
Dan Trachtenberg, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Threads. Do it.
.com/TRS.
Yes. It's members only. You got to get a hookup, so get your hookup. And fans,
have a good weekend.
TotallyRadShow.com is the place to send stuff.
You want to Squarespace? Square spot chain?
Sure.
Well, you don't have to. I can do it if you want.
Dude, Dan, you got it. Knock it out.
Get in there. Bam!
Get in there.
High pro.
Get up in that.
Balog portfolio.
Get in there.
I thought the door was open. I heard
and
rush.
Squirrel.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Today! No, okay. Today's Twitter question comes from @Matt Gonzalez, who asks us,
Mike.
Now let's scoot over just a bit.
Yep. That's glad we stopped. Here we go. Only suckers pay full price. Only suckers. All right, ready?
Stussy. Stussy.
Kid robot.
Umlaut. Stussy.
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 All right, here we go.
Here we go. Stussy suckers. Stussy.
Melt your brain.
Stussy suckers.
This the Stussy widget is pretty good too. All right, here we go. Hey!
it's for
Starting
horses.
it. Here we go. Hop! Here we go. All right, everybody. Nope. I just wanted to feel that one.
I think we all did.
Yeah,
I think we all felt it. We all
that one.
felt
It's
it.
good. It's a good
You're
pass.
getting the wind energy.
130% of that was felt.
I'm just that blow on the servers at HostGator. That's what I do. Here we go.
What happens if I don't?
Yeah.